How's it going, bros? Vdieo here, and today I want to talk about bots in Pokemon Unite. For those of you that aren't aware, there are loads of bot matches in Pokemon Unite. You could hop into a game and have no idea that you're actually playing against bots. You could have bots on your team. There's a million different ways to get into bot matches, and I want to talk about how to spot some bots, how to see if you were in a bot match after the game, and how to see if you are in a bot match before the game starts. So if you find this information useful, make sure you hit the like button, comment, and subscribe down below. So just starting off, this standard battle that I played was in fact a bot match. Now, did I know fully that it was a bot match during the game? No, not really. There are a couple hints that you can point to, and we're going to get into the gameplay in a second, but I just want to point out that, like, in Pokemon Unite now, since the recent patch, Nintendo has basically buffed the bots up quite a bit. It used to be extremely easy and obvious to spot them in real games because they had very little self-preservation and they were extremely scripted, but now they actually look and behave a lot more like real players, and they use real players' names. So, like, these could be real actual players, like gamer tags, their names, but they're just thrown on top of a bot and you're tossed into a game with them. So I just want to point out that, like, you might be in a semi-competitive match and you might not be thinking that it's bots now because of how much better the bots are, but since the most recent patch, Nintendo has made it so these bots will group up for objectives. They will not just aimlessly walk back to base. They won't just walk in a straight line or shoot over you with a jump pad. They are significantly better than they used to be, but you can still beat them, right? So let's hop into the actual gameplay and talk about this. Okay, the first thing you want to look out for is in that loading screen, you want to look for people that all have the exact same trainer cards. I know a lot of people don't flip over the trainer cards. I usually don't, so I don't really have exactly perfect footage of it right there, but you will see that these bots can wear HoloWare costumes and stuff like that, and if you flip over all their trainer cards, they're going to be all at basically the same angle. It's just going to be kind of like a wide shot of their trainer. And so that's kind of how you can get your first glimpse of what could potentially end up being a bot game. Now, as far as other things to be looking at, sometimes they'll just walk straight into the jungle even if they don't call jungle, if they are, you know, playing a jungle type character. So keep that in mind as well. Maybe your teammate isn't just trolling you. Maybe it's just a bot and it needs to get, you know, it needs to understand that somebody else is in central before it actually goes and leaves and helps out another lane. Also, before you actually hop into the match itself, it used to be, at least wide, you know, general opinion was that after hitting a decent losing streak, both in standard or in ranked, like, you get bot matches in ranked, guys. That's why ranked is a little silly, that you would get put into a bot match. But now it's not just like losing, you know, 3 games in a row, losing 4 games. It could be you lose 1 game. Or maybe if your queue time is taking too long, like if you are in, you know, 20-second, 30-second, 40-second, 50-second, sometimes it'll just toss you into a bot game. At least that's what I think happens, because, like, this game in particular, I think we won like 4 games before this. I lost 1 game on Venusaur, then hopped into this game, and it was a bot game. Another thing is they will actually try and invade your jungle now. They still have an element of, like, total lack of self-preservation, even with these improvements. But if you notice someone invading your jungle, like maybe when they shouldn't be, like when they aren't necessarily at an advantage, you can also potentially take that as a hint, as like, maybe they're a bot. Maybe they're not a real person, because that Greninja had no business being in the jungle with everybody on my team alive and, you know, 2 people in bot lane, right? Another thing to keep in mind is that if you are a laner, and you'll see it in this game, like the enemy Absol or some of the enemy laners, they'll be overtly aggressive. They won't be as stupid as they were pre-mobile patch, but they will still be really aggressive and in your face and trying to score using Unite moves, even when it's not an optimal situation to do so. And so that's another way that you can also spot these bots. What I was talking about before, though, was that these bots have been significantly improved. It used to be really super easy to spot them because They would just walk in and try and score. They wouldn't try and like really KO anybody. If you got them below a certain HP threshold, then they would basically just immediately start walking away from you, walk straight back to base in like a straight line, and never try and use any additional abilities. But now the bots actually mimic the reactions and the actions of real players a bit more, and in some cases better than some of the teammates that you're going to find in random matchmaking games. So you'll see there are certain circumstances here where I nuke them into oblivion, and they start walking backwards, but maybe they'll use a couple abilities. Maybe they will eject button. But like this Greninja, for example, is just walking kind of straight back towards me. There's still that element of scripting in the bots that make them want to go and not necessarily walk in straight lines, but like go and pursue a target relentlessly. So that is definitely something that you should keep an eye out for when you are in a game. Of course, if you are already in a game, are you going to actually do anything about being in these bot matches? No, not really. But like in my case, I kind of have to watch out for them because like I maybe could have used this footage for like a Talonflame one-shot build guide, because I just went and at the start of this game, I'm thinking this Greninja is just being disrespectful. This Greninja is like what does he think he's doing? He's invading me this early? Like, how dare you? So I was like targeting this Greninja a lot this game because I was like, okay, like you're going to be disrespectful towards me, I'll be disrespectful towards you. But the reality of the situation is that this did end up being you can see some of my aggression towards the enemy jungler here. This ended up being a bot game. And something else that I touched on a little bit earlier is that these guys will actually go and they'll group up for objectives now. Which can be really deceiving because like when I was initially like playing some of these games, you're like bots don't go and try and help out with anything, but now they actually, they will come down, they will rotate to Dreadnought. I think we even lose a Dreadnought to them at one point in this game. And it's just a weird scenario where like you actually have to like kind of fight against these bots now because they go and they do stuff that players should be doing. They go and they try and contest Zapdos. They try and fight over Dreadnought. And depending on the caliber of your teammates, or if your teammates are all bots, or if they're just maybe lower level players or something like that, like these bots can get semi-fed. I think this Absol ends this game with 10 kills. So it's just a really interesting scenario. You can see here, I try to go for this steal, don't get it, way too late, and I try to finagle my way out of it, and I just make a major misplay. I should have gone straight to the left, and I don't. I go to the... I go up and immediately am met with a Charizard Unite move, which is always fantastic. My team is trying to surrender constantly in this game. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they're just having a bad day. But I mean, I guess if you were faced with the same aggression this Absol is presenting, maybe you would want to surrender as well. But I'm popping off with Talonflame. I don't want to surrender. Other things to keep in mind is like, well, I mean, not really to keep in mind, but I do want to just slightly talk about this. Like, I really don't think that these bot matches have any place in not just standard games, but in ranked games as well. Like, there is a sizable population, player population for Pokemon Unite, and I feel like when you get into these games, especially for me as a content creator, where like every single game I play, like I record it and I want to, use it as potential footage. Like if I get into a bot game, I'm like, oh, you know what? These guys, they're not acting right. These are bots. Like it feels like a waste of time, and I feel like it also contributes to some of the issues that we see in ranked right now where, you have players in ranks that they possibly shouldn't be at because normally how ranked should work is, all right, I'm on a winning streak, and then I lose a couple games because I get to harder difficulty players, and then I bump myself back up, and then I go down, I go up, I go down, and then when I'm right around where I should be like ideally winning one game, losing one game, winning one game, losing one game. But the way that this is working currently is, when you go on a major losing streak, you basically get tossed into, somewhat of a gimme bot match, and it removes that element of putting people in the correct ranks, I want to say, and I feel like it's not really helpful just to the overall player base. Like I don't think that players that are constantly losing necessarily want to be handed just a gimme game. They want to feel that need to improve. They want to be able to improve, and I think that having these bot games be so prevalent and included in ranked, like in Masters, you can get bot games. Like, I just think that is that's unwise. So I really hope that in the future they just remove them altogether. You can see I go for the Zap Steal here because Brave Bird's amazing and so is Aerial Ace. Thankfully we secure the dub, and even though my team keeps fighting there, but I'm gonna go and score because I want to win this game and I don't want to lose. But we end up winning this game, and this brings me to one of the final ways in which you can kind of tell that you're going to be playing against bots is not just or having bots on your team. It's not just like going and playing within the game itself, right? Like, there are things like sometimes bots like to hang out in the center of the map a lot more, or they like to go and they'll hold on to these point totals and just walk over even though they lost Zapdos. After the game is completed, this was one of those things that I wasn't really sure was a thing because I kept facing off against people that, I thought maybe were bots, but maybe they were just newer players, or they're just, of a different rank. But after the game, my usual barometer for if it's a bot match is, can I go and add those players as friends after the game? Can I go and look at their info? Can I look at their trainer card? Can you actually click on them and do anything? And I think, in my opinion, you guys let me know if this is the same for you. In most bot matches that I am a part of, you are not able to go and actually click on the individual player cards of the enemy team or on your team if they are bots. However, you can do it in the, if you exit that lobby and you go into your match history, it allows you to add them as friends, which I think is a really weird thing. So you can see here, we obviously win the game. The bots get a lot of kills. They don't win, but I go and I try to click on their individual player cards, and it actually doesn't let me. It allows me to click on Phoenix because I know it's real, but these other players that I'm clicking on, it doesn't do anything. I'm not actually able to click on them and determine that they're a real person or not. So I am going and pressing the A button on all of these characters. It just, nothing pops up because they are bots. And that's how you can tell if that, to me, that is the biggest telltale sign of if you were in a bot game, is going and looking at that, at that player card after the game. And I'm going to go over here to my battle record now. We're going to show, see, I won a game, lost a game, but now if I go and I click on these player cards, hopefully I do it in this video, you're going to see that I can add them as a friend in this post-game lobby, even though I couldn't do it in the actual game itself. So I hope you learned something here today. I hope this was somewhat informational to you. Obviously, this isn't game-changing news. This isn't something that's going to go and totally rock your world or change your Unite perspective, but it's just a little bit of info that I thought was kind of interesting, and I thought that you guys might enjoy, or get a kick out of just trying to see the improvements that these bots have made, because there really have been some significant improvements. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We got Sylveon coming out tomorrow. I might do a stream for that. We will see. But that's it. Thanks so much for all the support. Love you guys. Damocles out.